Well met. Hey, what's going on? It's Tech Maki, and this is my Vision Series episode for Dark Fina. Dark Fina comes into the game a little bit later during the story, and she is the alter ego or alter personality of the Fina that we've all come to love. Now, Fina lost her memories after she broke out of the crystal, saving Rain and Loswell from the Veritas of the Dark. It seems that Dark Fina has access to these memories that Fina doesn't, but she's not willing to share. And it also seems that Fina has a small voice inside of her head, kind of like a split personality or something, but it usually only comes into play when involving Rain. And I think this has something to do with Rain discovering her crystal underneath Grand Shell Castle during one of the cutscenes, where we see Baby Rain running around, just lost down there. So with this, it does seem that she has, like I said, ties to Rain. She might also have ties to Raigan, Rain's father, and also has deeper ties to Lapis, the world itself, because she has intense knowledge of the crystals surrounding the world, which really calls to what she actually knows about everything. Maybe she was involved with the creation of Lapis or the protection of it using these crystals. We're not really sure. It would be nice to see how this character evolves as the story progresses. She does come into the game as a 5-star character, and she can be upgraded to 6-star. According to the character screen, she is a dark spirit, and this also calls back to her elemental resistance, where she has increased resistance to dark element and lower resistance to light elements. And I mention this only so that you can look at your character and plan for certain battles in case the battle that you're fighting, the enemy has light damage attacks and you don't want her to get messed up by this. She comes in, the role that she fills is a damage dealer. She can also slightly fill the role of a support character with one of her skills. Her best stats are MP and Magic. Her Magic is extremely high, so this is probably one of the best stats you should be looking at maxing out. And for her abilities, the ones, of course, I'm going to again note the ones that I find the most useful, her best abilities. Starting off with Distress, it's a random status ailment attack to all enemies. Doesn't do physical damage or magical damage, but it'll place a random element on them. I think it's 30% chance to cast everything except for Petrify, and I think Petrify is 100% chance. So if they're susceptible to Petrify, you should be able to stop them in their place. Next up, we have Auto Refresh, nice little passive. Recover MP every turn, 5% of her total. We then have Physical Fall. This is the attack I was talking about. It's attack and defense down by 40% to all enemies. Lasts for 3 turns. Really nice skill, especially if you're fighting multiples. It's not better than, say, Elza's single target one, which is 50%, but if you're fighting a multitude of enemies, you can always break them all and then continue on with the damage. Next up, we have Retaliate, which is another passive. It's a 30% chance to counter physical attacks with magic damage. After that, we have Revoke, which is immunity to Silence, Paralyze, and Petrify. Really cool passive. Would be nice if Sleep was attached to it, but since she doesn't have Sleep, you can always drop on a Black Cowl if need be to eliminate that. I've been told this numerous times in my comments, so figured I'd mention that. Next up, we have Dual Black Magic, which of course is essentially dual cast for specifically black magic spells. She can use black magic twice in a row. Very nice for her huge magical repertoire. Next up, we have Dystopia, which is dark magic damage. Dark magic damage, and it also has increased the effect can increase, the damage increases with consecutive hits. So every time you cast Dystopia, the damage will go up. I think the base modifier is 2.8 times, and every time you cast it afterwards, it goes up by 1.6%. And this maxes out at 6 times damage. So the first one's going to be a little weak, but by the time you cast that third time, you're going to be crushing it. Next up, we have her God level spells. She has a huge repertoire of God level spells. The only thing she doesn't have is ice and fire, which is fine. I think these spells alone should do enough damage for everything. Next up, we have her last spell, which is Ultima, magic damage with Ignore Spirit by 25% to all enemies. And of course, you can dual cast this for devastating effects. For her Trustmaster rewards, she has a 8-star materia called Dark Bond. The effect of Dark Bond is magic up by 30% with a rod and magic up by 20% with a robe. So of course total 50% magic. If this stacked, it would be nice, but according to all the reports, this skill or this TM does not stack, so it is what it is. Next up we have the Espers. Normally I guess you would pick Ramuh for her, and I think that would be one of the best Espers for her, but you can also choose Carbuncle if need be, depending on the fight or the situation you're in where you want to completely eliminate her elemental resistance to light damage. Now we're going to move into the builds, and for the builds, of course, I'm going to have the Esper right above my head in the stats section. And for the first one, it's going to be the free-to-play build. It's called the Crystal Spectre. It comes in at 3,500 HP, 324 MP, 499 magic. It's pretty strong, I think. Equipment-wise, you're going to be using the Wizard Rod, Creepy Mask, Magi Robe, 2 earrings. You get the earrings from the Fat Chocobo, and 4 times magic plus 10%. Those are... You can always switch out a magic plus 10% if you really need to. If you're worried about her HP, you can put in an HP plus 10% or 15% if you have access to those TMs. Next up is the Max Pots, and I think with Max Pots, this definitely makes this free-to-play build much stronger. 5,700 magic, 3,890 HP, and your magic now is at 408, so you can cast Ultima a few more times if you need to. Next up, we have our pay-to-play build. It's called the Fangs of Caduceus. Again, the HP is low, but you can always switch out a TM if you want to for HP plus 30%, or anything else it gives you. Maybe you want to put on a Pure Heart or something, even though probably HP plus 30% would be a better choice. Next up, we're looking at is 438 MP. So again, it's about what the free-to-play players have at maximum max pots on that build. Magic plus 770. And you're going to be using dual Omni Rods, Creepy Mask, Lordly Robe, Genji Glove, Magical Crest, Dark Bond, and of course I put in Acceptance, which is now it's the newest TM that's going to be released on Friday with the Type 0 banner. It's Magic plus 30% and MP plus 20%. So if you don't have access, which I know this is going to be very hard for players to get 3 of the 5 base or 5-star base, I think it's Ace. It's going to be hard to get 3 of him if you really want to do this, so you can always switch out an Acceptance for Magic plus 30% from the much more accessible and pullable Shantoto. With Max Pots, this comes in at 876. Now, of course, this can be really higher. The Ramuh that I'm using is base stats, so you can probably hit up to about 885, maybe even a little higher than that with a fully done up Ramuh. HP again 3890. Magic is now 561, so you can cast Ultima or whatever you want all day, every day. You shouldn't have to worry about running out of MP immediately by casting Ultima at least. And then her magic, or no, not her magic. I think this is a really good build, but they're like I said, Acceptance is going to be a very, very tricky piece of gear. Tricky piece of TM or materia that you can get. The last build that we have is the arena build I have. It's called Gladiator's Bane. Comes in at HP, or the HP is at 5587, MP is at 357, and your magic is at 588. And I think this is enough to cap out damage from magic damage in the arena. With the equipment that you're going to be using is going to be 2 Omni Rods, Creepy Mask, Vampire Cloak, so you can get a little bit of evasion, Ring of the Lucii, again for evasion, and of course access to Alterna, Genji Glove, Dark Bond, 2 HP plus 30%, and then an Acceptance. And again, you can switch out Acceptance for Magic plus 30% if need be. At Max Pots at 655 Magic, 6,211 HP, 454 MP. I think this is a very strong build in the arena, and of course you're going to be using Carbuncle, so you can get rid of that light element resistance issue. Now, if you have any questions about the builds or you have any suggestions about the builds, please don't hesitate to put a comment down below. And if you like the video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you like the content and you want to see more content in the future, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And if you would like to, you can come check me out on Twitch live on Thursdays through Sundays. The link for my channel is in the description down below. And I really hope you enjoyed the video. Maki out.